What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning subscriber, however, if this is your first time joining me on today, welcome. It's here we use information from celestial bodies to help us gain a better understanding of our favorite celebrities, world events, but most importantly, our damn selves. So with that being said, thumbs up this video, subscribe to become a part of the family, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm doing another celebrity Synastry reading. I've been intentionally doing more of these Synastry readings lately just because, I've been getting a lot of requests for them. But I also noticed I don't do them as much as I do the natal chart readings. But I did get a request for Erica, Mena, and Safaree Synastry reading fairly recently. I did a reading on them a few years back. I'm not really that satisfied with it. There's a lot more depth, I feel like, and juicy information that can be extracted from such. So this is going to be more of a revisited, if you will. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So Erica Mena, reality star / video vixen / model, was married to Safaree, who is most notorious for being Nicki Minaj's longtime boyfriend and hype man, okay? They got together, had a whirlwind romance, if you will, got married, had 2 children, and proceeded to show their asses to the public at large, okay? A lot of their marriage drama has played out via Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Y'all go catch up on the tea on your own time. I'm not really even that familiar with all of the details. All I know is every time I look up, I'm on the shade room, whatever the case may be, she's arguing with one of his side bitches. They're arguing. She's putting him on blast about something. And most recently, there was a clip circulating from VH1 where on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, apparently Erica Mena discovered that it is funny. She discovered that she was only going to get $4,000 a month from Safaree in child support payments. And she started crying. And how am I supposed to have the majority of the brunt of raising the children on myself? And, I'm biased as a regular, degular, schmegular chick. I don't know what it's like to not be able to appreciate $4,000 a month or raise a kid or 2 off of that. And that's before we even consider your own stream of income. But I suppose when you trying to keep up with the Joneses, when you call yourself being a celebrity, a star, y'all already know how that goes when we start getting into child support payments. A lot of women want the most, not the lesser, in words of Pimp C. So, that's just pretty much the background on that. So let's get into what we came here to do. All right. Erica Mena was born on November 8th, 1987 in the Bronx, New York. Safaree was born July 4th, 1981 in Brooklyn, New York. I did not realize they had such a sizable age gap. But that's neither here nor there. So the scope of this particular Synastry reading is to dissect the actual problems within their marriage, y'all. So we're not here to discuss the good shit. You want to hear the good shit, go find another reading. We're here to talk about the tea and the drama, and this is supposed to be for entertainment purposes only. Let me also preface this with that, because a lot of y'all get in my comment section, why are you so negative? Why you want to talk a bitch? Because it's fun. Why the fuck you here if you don't want to watch it? Anywho, so starting with first things first, Erica is a Scorpio sun. And, when we talk about the archetype of Scorpio can be one of those energies, depending on what planet it's placed in, that can actually extract a lot of unearned income. So for a lot of women with Scorpio on the sun, even Venus, I would argue, they can find themselves in situations because the sun deals with children, it deals with your husband, and of course Venus can deal with your marriage. They can find themselves in situations where, especially like as it pertains to child support, alimony, spousal support. They can very well be recipients of that. However, her son is squaring Safaree's Chiron in Taurus, and that right there is the crux of this whole child support issue thing. It's one of the main aspects that point towards that, because it can deal with where Safaree may not got it like that. He may not got it like that. Sorry. And he has his Venus in Leo. A lot of Venus Leo placements suck with money. They'll use it to impress other people, but when it comes to the ins and outs of their finances, it could be things could get a little spooky. It may not give what you thought it was going to give, but that's just one aspect that can point to that. Okay. So then we also have Erica's moon. She's a Gemini moon. It happens to be forming a conjunction with Safaree's Mars in Gemini. In terms of, the problematic portion of their relationship, on one hand, I will say this could produce a relationship where, two people are very similar in a lot of ways. Both of them could be very young-minded or have a very youthful spirit, in addition to Safaree's Leo moon and Venus and all that Leo energy, right? Leo on the North Node. But, where they could joke and laugh. And that could have been the crux of a lot of their relationship where things were going good, where it was a lot of newness, fun, exciting times. But ultimately, with Safaree being a Gemini Mars, this is the placement, a key placement that I call community dick for men. Mars in Gemini is a community dick placement for men. Are there exceptions? Yes. Do other factors apply? Yes. So I don't want to hear y'all niggas in the comment section telling me why that don't apply to you or the Gemini Mars person Typically speaking, Gemini gets around. Gemini is very, what's the word that a lot of astrologers use? Flighty, which is a polite word for saying thotty, getting around. It's very relative. It needs movement. They can lose attention very, very quickly, right? Men with their Mars and Gemini. And then when you add the Mars placement in the mix, it's just, these men, they don't know whether they're coming or going. And when it comes to their sexual appetite, their instincts, their drive, their desire, they need new shit. They need new options. And they may very well sling their dick every which way. It's a part of them exploring. They always want to see what's out there. It just is what it is. And with that Mars conjoining Erica Mena's moon, once again, that could have been a part of what piqued his interest in the beginning. And I do feel like she may have tried really hard to keep up with him. This could even be an aspect that could produce threesomes and things like that. So she gives me, and y'all know she already bisexual. That's the part of her Gemini moon placement too. The moon deals with women. Gemini, once again, deals with duality, even bisexuality. We ain't even going to talk about the implications it could have on Safaree. They could have been having some really questionable sex, but that's neither here nor there. Point is, I feel like she could have done some things. Gemini can be very flexible too. Being very flexible, accommodating, trying to do new things. But ultimately, it probably backfired because he's just the type of guy, he would just have a hard time being a one-woman man. And that's also in tandem with him having some of these other player placements in his chart, including that Venus and Moon in Leo. These are men who thrive off of attention. And especially if they feel like they're not getting it in one aspect of their life or from one woman, they're going to go wherever the attention is. It just is what it is. And they can be really big flirts as well. So there's that. So this conjunction between Safaree's Mars and Erica's moon could deal with him having wandering eyes. Also reinforced by the fact that Erica's moon is opposing Safaree's Neptune and Sagittarius. And then that happens to coincide with Safaree's natal Mars squaring Neptune. Now, the Moon-Neptune opposition could deal with a situation like situational circumstances. Yes, I said situational, where Erica could find out about, let's say, like another woman or other things that Safaree is doing on the sneak tip, right? And with Safaree having his natal Mars square Neptune, that kind of reinforces a lot of that energy signature in the sense that it could make him somebody who's very sneaky, Once again, that community peen placement of Gemini, Mars square Neptune, that could deal with where he's going to do what he wants to do, but he's going to lay it low and spread it wide kind of vibes. That could be her finding shit in his phone, or him texting other girls, talking to other women, with his Neptune being in Sagittarius. That could even be him having out-of-town affairs, going out of town, dealing with other women. Y'all know he's from Jamaica. And I think he was dealing with that one lady who was Jamaican too. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Like I said, I don't know all the ins and outs of their shenanigans, but I remember something like that had came out and she spoke out against him or was putting their relationship on blast. That could very much be a part of that Mars square Neptune that he has natally. But in terms of their synastry, Erica's Gemini moon opposing Safaree's Neptune definitely reinforces like these certain instances where he's being found out about. You know, that could be scandal, like I said, involving other women. You know, his transgressions. That moon Neptune opposition could even speak to where he tends to abandon her or neglect their home as well as their parenting commitments, which I remember was something big that she complained about, where he could ignore her needs, guilt her, gaslight her, take her for granted. Once again, him lying, just being sneaky. And when he could just have the tendency to check out of the relationship. His response to even like conflict, when we talk about his Mars square Neptune, could be to get the fuck on. Like, he's one of those guys, the minute an argument breaks out in the relationship, he don't want to talk about it no more. You'll look up and he probably won't come home. Right? Mars square Neptune likes to flee the scene, especially when we talk about Mars and Gemini squaring Neptune. You know, they can be cowards. That's a very cowardly aspect. Okay. This conjunction between Erica's moon and Safaree's Mars could also speak to her being caught up in the past, very reactionary when it comes to Safaree's actions, where he could switch up a lot on her. Gemini moons could also be very flip-floppy, but with Safaree's Mars kind of dominating this conjunction, he could probably be the one who initiates a lot of the bullshit. So her kind of waking up, never knowing who's going to show up that day, what kind of guy what kind of Safaree she's going to get. Y'all know that Mars and Gemini could also create that Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of complex. And it highlights a lot of the emotional instability that she has within her, because she's very, very, very unstable. Very, very, very unstable. Very emotionally unstable. Also reinforced with her Virgo South Node at the 29th degree, but we'll get to that in a minute. This conjunction between her moon and Safaree's Mars could also deal with arguments, him being very selfish in the relationship, where he could weaponize things that she's told him in the past against her, and, you know, so on and so forth. So, you know, there's that. Then you have Erica, Saturn, and Sagittarius opposing Safaree's Mars. That could be her trying to tame or control him, even though he's out of control. Just feeling like she has to have, like, hold the reins within the relationship. Her trying really hard to reel him back in, basically. It could also deal with where she feels like she has to give up some of her own freedom due to his actions, and where she could take on more of the weight and the responsibility in terms of keeping the relationship going. It could also point towards a shutdown of communication. This aspect also coincides with Erica's natal moon opposing Saturn. And that could kind of highlight to where overall there's this feeling that she has that, like, motherhood is a burden. I don't think she enjoys motherhood that much. To be real with y'all, I think she had those kids for Safaree, and this is of course speculative on my part, especially with Safaree being a Leo moon, Venus, and having Leo on the North Node. Karmically, he's supposed to be somebody, you know, who learns through children, and having his own children could be a chief aim, you know, entering relationships for the purpose of having children and procreating. It could be a huge learning point, turning point for him karmically, you know, a really big part of his destiny being a father. But just looking at Erica's natal chart separately, like, even when we, like, look outside of their synastry, she has a lot of aspects that point towards motherhood being very difficult for her. And One of those aspects being her Gemini moon in conjunction to Chiron. That could deal with where her mother probably didn't raise her, where she grew up kind of being tossed around from home to home and family member to family member, which is how she got sexually assaulted. That Gemini moon Chiron conjunction could deal with that, where her being, mishandled, let's say that, by family members and things like that. But it could also deal with where, as a mother, she could have those tendencies too. I'm not going to hold you. And then that Saturn in opposition to her moon could be like where she just, feels like motherhood is a burden. I don't know the details of like whether she keeps her kids often or not, but I'm going to be honest, just looking at her chart, just being honest, she gives me mom who's not really that connected. If she's there physically, she's not there emotionally. It's just what it is what it is. She also has moon in opposition to Uranus, that Uranus in Sagittarius. So that could be her being out of town a lot, being gone a lot, being separate from her kids. Like I said, if she's with her kids physically, mentally, something's not there. Then with her nose being at the 29th degree, that number 29 could also implicate issues with motherhood. So, then she has that Sun-Pluto conjunction. She may even resent or regret the decision to have children at some point. Because y'all know she had an older son. He's a big boy now. But I don't know, y'all. I don't know, but whatever. Getting back into the synastry. Like I said, this is speculative only, but whatever. Okay. I ain't saying, look, whatever. Now, hopping back into the synastry. That Saturn in opposition to Mars. So, Erica's Saturn opposing Safaree's Mars. Could also deal with her being really mean to him, too. Okay. But a lot of times it's based on, like I said, something he said, something he did, whatever the case may be. Right. Where she feels like he's always inconveniencing her. Safaree's Pluto in Libra is opposing Erica's Jupiter in Aries, which could deal with where he feels like she demands too much from him. This is an aspect in synastry that could cause resentment on the end of the Pluto individual. So with Erica's Jupiter in Aries, she moves really fast. She's not the only one, but in this aspect, it could point to where a lot of these issues and a lot of the avoidance and resentment on his end could be initiated by her being somebody who just moves too fast, who's very demanding, very hands-on. She wants what she wants. Like, based on this, and even looking at her natal chart with her having that Mars in Libra conjoined to her Mercury, she probably was the one who wanted to get married like that, honestly. And this actually makes a lot of sense because Safaree has his natal Saturn conjoined to Jupiter in Libra, which could produce a person who, like, marriage could kind of cramp their style, right? Where marriage could be something that takes a lot of work, right? Saturn is exalted in Libra, but that does not make a person exempt from the negative effects of it. Saturn in Libra is that's hard work. That could be relationships that are burdensome, especially with it conjoined to his Jupiter. That means Saturn will be working overtime to stifle his Jupiter in Libra. And Jupiter Libra placements can be just as brash as Jupiter Aries placements in terms of hopping into relationships. They could have a string of engagements, especially as a man. That could be a ladies' man hopping from one situation to the next, just head first. And I think he even was engaged to the other Jamaican lady that he was dealing with prior to her. And, he was dealing with them within a very, very close time span. So y'all see what I'm saying? These are people who just kind of, especially as men, can kind of be all over the place. They're in it for the romance and for the honeymoon period with Jupiter in Libra. Like, they'll hop in a situation and sell a woman all these dreams and get so caught up, right? Be so romantic, charming, giving, Erica her dream wedding, right? Libra deals with marriage, giving her dream wedding. And like I said, a lot of this I feel could have been initiated by her, maybe in terms of her communicating that's what she wanted. She wants to get married. And he jumped right into it. He also has, once again, that Venus in Libra. Maybe he wanted to impress her. But with, Jupiter in conjunction to Saturn, a lot of times when a person overextends themselves, they, are punished for it soon after. So in Safaree's case, with this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Libra, this could deal with him overextending himself, over promising all these things. Oh, this is what life with me gonna be like. We married. Meet me at the altar in your waitress. And then as soon as the newness wears off, that's when that Saturn deals with reality. It deals with the day-to-day responsibilities of keeping a marriage going. Saturn and Libra? Yeah, nah. And at that point, he probably became a horrible partner. And to take it back to his nodal lessons, as a Leo North Node, in this lifetime, he has to learn how to navigate romantic relationships. He may be somebody who's a better friend than a lover, or a guy who places his friends over his romantic connection. So, I don't know if they've ever spoke to that. Like, it's giving me very much, I'd rather hang out with the guys. I'll have more intimacy with my guy friends, my friends, than I will my actual partner. Or when it comes to like actually being a man, he just don't have it. He not naturally, he just doesn't. Okay. So there's that. Now Erica, on the other hand, with that Virgo at South Node at the 29th degree, her Mercury conjoined to Mars in Libra, she always feels the need to micromanage her relationships or be in control. This could point to where she's judgmental and unforgiving and always trying to repair shit. So more than one thing could be true at once. Both of these people equally contributed, despite what you may see or what, one or the other may want to portray. They both contributed to the dysfunction of this relationship. This is a trauma bond. A lot of Virgo South Nodes, especially with this 29th degree, can be predisposed towards trauma bonds. For Erica, she may be somebody who seeks partners to help her regulate her mental health, as well as her self-esteem issues, but it's to no avail. She's also somebody who I see who it's going to be very hard for her to have peaceful, functional relationships with people. It's just what it is. That Moon Chiron conjunction in Gemini is going to do it. That Mars Mercury conjunction in Libra is going to do it. That can make her argumentative. She could be a big nagger, especially with Virgo on the South Node, where she's just not easy to be with at all. She could be a bitch on wheels. And that could have been another part of what made Safaree go, what the fuck did I sign myself up for? What the fuck did I sign myself up for? What the fuck is this? You know what I mean? With her Mercury in opposition to Jupiter and Aries, that's her jumping to conclusions. Hopping in relationships as well, just doing stuff. That's her falling for him really fast. She's been in several relationships we've seen throughout the course of Love and Hip Hop where that person is the love of her damn life. And then, not even one full season later, she was somebody else. Like, girl. So there's that. The opposition between Safaree's Pluto and her Jupiter could deal with him being controlling, but he's controlling more so behind the scenes, where he could be passive aggressive, which could result in Erica lashing out. This could be him putting her up against other women. And with his Mars conjoined to her Moon in Gemini, she's going to take the bait. You know what I'm saying? That could be her arguing with the chicks. And also with her just naturally having that argumentative kind. She's just a very argumentative person. She's a very conflict-driven, once again, person. Very confrontational. Mars conjoined to Mercury in Libra. That's arguing with other women about her man, arguing with her man, arguing about this, fighting about that. Mercury opposing Jupiter in Aries. She's built for this. Like, that's what she does. She knows no peace. She knows no peace. That opposition between his Pluto and her Jupiter could also deal with there being lots of even physical fighting, violence, where things can get really violent, especially on her part. Court issues. This is another aspect that can point towards the legal issues. Him undermining her and having the upper hand in court. Because even despite her having those Libra placements, she lacks patience. She lacks strategy. She just be doing shit. She really just be doing shit, especially with Erica being a Scorpio sun. You can tell she's a very vindictive person, but all of her cylinders don't fire to the point where she can successfully fuck a nigga life over. That's why she resorts to throwing temper tantrums and fighting and arguing. That's what she's best at. Low blows and being vicious to people in the moment, but playing like the long game, he's definitely better than her at that, This opposition could deal with Safaree wanting Erica to appear a certain way where she could be too wild and raw for him with that Jupiter in Aries. Other themes with this aspect could be suspicion, jealousy, infidelity. This could also reinforce Safaree being avoidant. Once again, possible domestic violence situations and restraining orders. She's just crazy. I don't want to say crazy. Let me not say that. But, Erica having that Mars conjoined to, Mercury in Libra. I mean, once again, that could be arguments. But Mars and Libra can even breed physical violence in partnerships sometimes. So there's that. Then they have a quintessential domestic or just abusive aspect in Synastry, which is Mars conjoined to Pluto. Erica's Mars is conjoined to Safaree's Pluto in Libra. That's more abuse, issues with power imbalances in the relationship. It also reinforces him having the upper hand legally. But where she may initiate it. So any kind of court situation that ensues with Erica's Mars conjoined to Safaree's Pluto, she'll probably start it and he's the one to finish it, is kind of the vibes I'm getting. Court issues. Also, they could deal with counseling. I wouldn't be surprised if they had marriage counseling, went to couple counseling, if she suggested it, or if that's something that, may happen in the future, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, if there's something I don't know, feel free to drop down in the comment section and bring me up to speed. Erica's Neptune is squaring Safaree's Jupiter in Libra. That also deals with her not being 100% transparent in the relationship. Where there could be some things on her end, like, that aren't, like, as they appear. In the sense that, especially when we talk about Neptune and Capricorn squaring Jupiter and Libra, like, her not being honest about why she even jumped into the relationship. That could also even deal with her kind of abandoning the relationship, too. Like, once he starts straying and her just kind of, deciding to kind of, do other things or whatever the case may be, or maybe sneak around because he's sneaking around. That's plausible. Or her lying because she, he doing his thing. But also, like, her not being honest about why she got with him in the first place. It's giving clout chaser a little bit. It's giving, like, that's kind of the vibes I'm getting. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Especially with her being a number 8 birth number. They could be really big, like, opportunists. Now, I mean, that could also deal with her having her own career. I'm not going to do it like she ain't had a career of her own. Like I said, model, love hip-hop, whatever the case may be. But, it just gives, like, she not really, all her hands is not, on the table. All her cards are not on the table like she claims they are. So I'm going to just leave that there. Okay. Deception, issues with honesty and the truth could be a major theme in the relationship, major breaking factor in the relationship on both ends, and so she's not exempt from that for whatever the reason may be. Her Uranus is opposing Safaree's Mars and Mercury. That reinforces her being tyrannical, wanting control, being willful, especially when it comes to how she believes things should be with Uranus and Sagittarius. It could also deal with her just discovering a lot of shocking revelations about their relationship, especially as they got closer. Also reinforced with Safaree's Mars conjoined to her moon. So probably as they moved in together and her just really discovering shit about him, like, okay, so that's really the type of shit he on. That Uranus opposition to his Mars could also deal with her making the decision to separate, to, divorce or break up. And him just saying things to her that, once again, or her just finding out things about him, maybe looking through his phone once again and being shocked by what she finds. It's also giving, like, looking at his social media vibes. It could also deal with, like, their outside influences in the relationship as well. She gets a lot of outside opinions from other people, or maybe that could be how he feels or whatever, and that could cause some tension too. So, all in all, this is just a hot mess. I never saw it working from the beginning. But I don't wish the breakup of any type of family of any sort, but she'll be all right. It's single moms out here every day, B. And most of us do not get $4,000 a month. So, poor little Tink Tink. She'll make it work. She'll be all right. I just want her to get some mental health treatment. I would like for him to do what he needs to do so that he could be an upstanding man for his family as well. I need for him to get a career that does not involve dick riding the manette, the ultimate menage. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, this concludes this reading. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. And I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.